Can Dallas actually pull this off without their best defenseman? We got a rematch of last year's Western Conference semis between the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. And if you remember that series correctly, the Stars won it 4-2. And according to the bookies, as of today, as of recording this, April 16th, the Dallas Stars are slight underdogs, despite having home ice. And I find that surprising because of how evenly matched both these teams are, at least in my opinion. So I believe there's three major storylines in this series. And the marquee one, and the one that everybody's been talking about for a long time, Miko Rantanen against his former team, the Colorado Avalanche. Now, if you don't know the trade history, so Miko Rantanen, drafted by Colorado, won a Stanley Cup with Colorado, was traded earlier this year from Colorado to Carolina. And the reason that happened was because Miko Rantanen and his camp couldn't come to an agreement with Colorado on a major contract extension. He wanted a lot of money, he wanted a lot of term, and it sounds like the Avalanche weren't willing to meet him there. So they blindsided him in a trade to Carolina. Pretty crazy that a guy like Miko Rantanen, with a Stanley Cup, as good as he's been, didn't have a no-trade clause. Pretty crazy. Regardless, didn't work out in Carolina. At the deadline, Carolina flips him to the Dallas Stars. Dallas, they get Miko Rantanen. They trade off some pieces for him. They sign him to a major contract extension. And here we are. Miko Rantanen and the Stars are about to have home ice advantage against his former team. So Rantanen's quick stop in Carolina wasn't a very good one. You could tell he didn't want to be there. He pretty much told the coach he didn't want to be there. His numbers weren't great either. But since coming into Dallas, he's become a point per game guy, or just under a point per game guy, on the number one power play, and he's fit right in with the Dallas Stars and all the stars that they have in their lineup. He can play up and down that lineup, but it looks like he fits in really well alongside Roope Hintz. So he's fitting in well in Dallas. Now the big question is, can he replicate what he's done in the playoffs before for Dallas without being beside Nathan MacKinnon and Gabriel Landeskog? You know, the main reason why they brought this guy in, obviously, besides wanting to have a massive star in Rantanen, is that he's a playoff performer. He's been one of the best playoff performers in the last, 5-6 seasons? Just look at his numbers. 101 points in 81 playoff games. Not many players in the league currently can show that they have the same or even close to that. So Rantanen, obviously a massive storyline playing against his former team. Can he replicate what he did for Colorado? That's the big question, and that's the thing that I really want to see. Now, continuing with the Stars, Miro Heiskanen is the second major storyline because he's injured. He's been out since late January with the knee injury, and he's officially been ruled out for Game 1. So initially, it sounded like he was going to be ruled out for the entire series, but now it's just Game 1, and they're going to take it game by game to see how he feels. And that's huge for Dallas because they need him. If you look at last year, he played 28 minutes per game in the playoffs when Dallas went all the way to the Western Conference Finals. He was their horse. In some games, he played north of 30 minutes. And don't forget, if you look back at some of those game logs and you remember those games, they were only running 5 defensemen. They had 6 on the bench. They had 6 total. They dressed 6, but only 5 were running. So Miro Heiskanen needed to be that guy, and he's always been that guy. Even this season through, I think, 40 or 50 games that he's played 25 minutes a night, which is more than any other Dallas Star during that time. Listen, Thomas Harley is very good. Esa Lindell is very good. Those two are better when Miro Heiskanen is in the lineup. Those guys can't replicate what he does. He plays in every single situation. And the main reason, not the main reason, one of the main reasons why Dallas has been so successful over the past few seasons and knocking on the door of a Stanley Cup final is because of him. So his status is super, super important. Now, if he ends up being ruled out for the entire series, massive edge to Colorado. Now, the third major storyline is the potential return of Gabriel Landeskog to the Colorado Avalanche, the captain. Now, this guy hasn't played in an NHL game in 3 years after suffering a knee injury where he was sliced above his knee in a playoff game in 2020 against the Dallas Stars. Now, he has played, actually quite recently. The Avalanche sent him down to their AHL team for a quick conditioning stint where he played back-to-back games. I believe in one of those games he played north of 15 minutes. Now, is that enough? Probably not. I don't think so. But the other question is, does Gabriel Landeskog have to be the old Landeskog? The 67 points in 69 playoff game Landeskog? I don't think so. I think the emotional and the energetic boost that they'll get from him being in the lineup can propel them to win a series, can propel them to do incredible things because they have such a fantastic team. I mean, look what Colorado did during the season. They essentially rebuilt on the fly. They've gotten better after losing Miko Rantanen. They trade Rantanen, right? They bring in Marty Nietzsche, who's hit the ground running, playing alongside Nathan MacKinnon, one of the two fastest players in the NHL. They also get Jack Drury, their fourth line center. Then at the deadline, they solidify their middle by bringing in Brock Nelson and Charlie Coyle, two guys with tons of experience. Charlie Coyle has so much playoff experience. And also during the season, they didn't like their goaltending. So what did they do? They flipped both of them, got two new goaltenders in Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood. So it's been an incredible transformation. They've gotten better. But what I'm trying to say is, listen, they're already a good team. You throw in Landeskog at 50%, let's say, and he plays 10 minutes a night or 8 minutes a night, and he's somewhat of a factor, and you get that emotional, energetic boost that I'm talking about, that can do huge things for this team. So the return of Landeskog is a major, major talking point in this series. Now let's take a look at some game changers in this series. And obviously we look at Colorado, you look at the big dog, you look at Nathan MacKinnon. But besides him, you have to look around the lineup and think, who's someone that can pop out and really do some damage here? And I believe that guy is Valeri Nichushkin. Because from the regular season to the playoffs, he turns into Wayne Gretzky in the playoffs. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but the guy's incredible. Look at his numbers from last year. 9 playoff goals. 7 of those goals came in the first round against Winnipeg, where he scored a hat trick in one of the games. He scored 2 against Dallas before being pulled out to be put in the player assistance program halfway through that Dallas series. I wonder what would have happened in that series if the result would change if Nichushkin wasn't pulled out to go into the player assistance program, because he was that good for Colorado. Even this season, he's only played 43 games. He's got 21 goals. It's a pretty good return. And he seems to always turn it up in the playoffs. He scored 9 goals in a previous postseason as well. So when the games get tighter and the pressure gets ramped up, this guy just seems to get better. Another game changer I'm looking at is not a specific player. It's Colorado's power play. 9th in the league at the moment, but since March 1st, number 1 at 32%. And we know that special teams in the playoffs really matters. It really does, especially the power play, because games are so much tighter and the referees put the whistles away that when you get that man advantage, that opportunity that seems so rare in the playoffs, you have to make it count. And Colorado, their power play at the moment is making it count. We just need to see if that can trend right directly into the playoffs against the Dallas Stars. One thing I want to know about Dallas's penalty kill, especially their penalty kill in the last playoffs, it was at 67%, which is really low for a team that made the conference finals. I was surprised to see that. But that was coming off being a top 8 PK in the regular season. It, for some reason, just didn't translate into the playoffs. And they're a top 10 PK again this year. Is there going to be some sort of a fall off? Then this is an area where Colorado can take advantage and win a series off the special teams alone. I only have one game changer for Dallas outside of Miro Heiskanen, and that's their goaltender, Jake Oettinger. Top 10 goalie in the league, proven playoff performer with a save percentage north of 900, which is very important because if you go and look back at the numbers, any team that makes a Stanley Cup final, their goaltender has a save percentage that's 900 plus. You got to have it. And in this series, the Stars have the edge because Wedgwood and Blackwood have next to no playoff experience if you go look at their numbers. Neither of them have ever made a start in the playoffs. And I know Blackwood's probably going to be their number 1 guy. What happens if he gets chased in a couple of games and you got to bring in Wedgwood? Give me the guy with the experience and who's been there. And that's Jake Oettinger, and that's the Dallas Stars. All right, prediction time. I'm going with the home team, Dallas Stars, in 7 games. I just think Dallas, too good for Colorado at the moment. One of the highest scoring teams in the NHL, one of the best defensive teams in the NHL. And I think the biggest edge, like I mentioned, comes in goal with Jake Oettinger. There's too much experience on that side and too much inexperience on the other side. Now, will I be surprised if Colorado can take this thing in 7? No, that's why I went with 7. They're so evenly matched. But Oettinger, for me, I think takes the Dallas Stars over the top. All right, that's it for me. Let me know in the comments below who you're backing. Are you going with Colorado or are you going with Dallas? Let me know. Also, I'll have more previews and predictions throughout the entire playoff series, so make sure you subscribe to the BetCanada channel. And if you liked the video, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.